So we've had a few days to play the Gauntlet, get accommodated to all the new features, all the things that remained the same, and all of the bugs that are in there right now, because there's certainly quite a few of them, but forget about all that stuff. Today, in this video, we're going to revise, I guess, our Gauntlet strategy, our deck. We're going to go through the game mode, basically explain the Gauntlet, how it works now to all the new players. I'm sure a lot of people have played this a ton, pretty much have it figured out, but I'm going to give you my suggestions to everybody else. If you're still struggling with, well, I mean, you shouldn't be struggling with this particular Gauntlet now just because it's all bronze and silver, because it's, I don't know why they did that. Maybe because they couldn't fix the stats in time, or they still having trouble with that. But either way, I'm gonna probably expect it to be fixed by the time the next Gauntlet comes around, and hopefully the strategy that we talk about today is gonna be the one to go for from now on. Y'all have to let me know in the comments, what are you using, if it's something different, or do you have a different strategy and all of that stuff. Now, initially when I made that first video, when I was like, dude, you need 12 Sapphire Pros in order to get this thing done. At least that's what I expected. For all those people that watched that and was basically like, I don't have very many Sapphire Pros, or I don't have any, I'm not going to do it, and didn't figure out yet that the Gauntlet is all bronze and silver, and they could have got the event card as well, man. I feel for them. That was definitely unexpected, but yeah, like I said, we're going to assume that it's going to be fixed from now on, and forgetting about all the bugs and the things that are wrong with the Gauntlet game right now, like the cards switching out. Again, I don't know what's going on, but like I said in the last video, their art department is certainly on point. Game development and game modes need some work. But yeah, first thing, let's talk about the actual deck. Now, the original video where I said you needed 8 or 12 Sapphire Pros and you should do them in a vertical line, because last year what they did was select a random point guard, a random shooting guard, a random small forward. This year is not like that. It's a little bit different. So instead of selecting a random position, they now select a random row. So all cards, we only have 4 rows of cards. And it is every single card in that row that gets selected per round or per quarter, however you want to look at it. So no more thinking that, hey, am I going to get, you know, this particular point guard? Am I going to get this particular shooting guard or whatever like that? It's now the entire row. I can always expect that this Damian Lillard right here is going to be paired with my Alec Burks. And so on. I can always expect this Ben Simmons to always be paired with the Sue Bird. All of the rows are going to remain exactly the same. You just don't know exactly which row is going to come up. Now, with that being said, it changes our strategy as far as the arrows go. And what I recommend doing when you talk about placing the arrows is pick a color and stick to that color for the entire row. Try to do 3 left, 2 right, or 3 right, 2 left, or 3 up, 2 down, kind of like that. You might have, in this particular situation, I have 3 rows of blue and only 1 yellow. Maybe you can do all 4 of them yellow, or 2 and 2, or whatever, just depending on what cards you have in your deck is going to determine how many arrows you need. And since they select the entire row, it doesn't matter if you have only one specific color of arrows. So yeah, how I have it set up, I have a lot more blues than I have yellows, and so as you see, I pick 3 arrows to one direction, 2 arrows to the opposite direction. So I'm always going to have 2 tags and 1 non-tag. Even though this is a thing that they did last year. Last year, they only did 1 tag and 3 singles every single quarter. This year, they're doing exactly the same thing. Even though they could do 2 tags in a quarter, I don't know why they don't. Like, some quarters should be 2 tags and 1 single, or some quarters should be 5 singles, or some quarters should be 1 tag and 3 singles. But for whatever reason, they stuck to the exact same format as last year. At least as of right now, making this video, it's always going to be 1 tag and then 3 singles. So the first row, I have 3 rights, 2 lefts. The second row, I have 3 lefts and 2 rights. Third row, I have 3 ups and 2 downs. And then the bottom row, I have 3 lefts and 2 rights. And again, remember, you have to have 1 WNBA player per every row. It doesn't matter. They don't have to be different positions. They could all be point guards if you want them to be, but there has to be a WNBA player in every single row. And another thing to note, which I made in that, I guess, good things and bad things video we did a couple weeks ago, they still do not have, and I don't know if they ever will, a drag and drop placement for these cards. I tell you what, organizing this, when it auto-fills it and puts them in all ridiculous places and positions and arrows, all different, and you have to actually click, like you gotta sub out the person you want to move, put in a crappy card, then go to other thing, put them back in. This literally took me like 30 minutes to organize this from the autofill that it had in there. So it certainly is a little bit frustrating. I really hope they add the drag and drop feature when it comes to at least being able to organize decks, just to make our life a little bit easier. So now that we got the deck out of the way and what I think is going to be the best deck going forward, let me show you why it is going to be the best deck. And like I said, it is going to pick a random row. Like whatever row it is, it's all going to be the same color if you have it set up like that. But something different that they did add, when I initially did the pre-Gauntlet video, I was thinking that if you put them in the correct position, it gives you a boost. Well, that is not the case, kind of. You do need them in the correct position, in a way, but you don't get a pre-round boost. Last year, if they were in the correct position, it automatically, every single player in the correct position got an automatic boost before the round started. It's not like that anymore. So they now have these positional stat boosts if the player is in the correct position. So 1, you have to have them in the correct position to get the stat boost. And 2, you have to play the position in which it says in order to get the stat boost. So here we'll get a 60 plus to defense if we play our center. And this is one of the key things that of why I think that picking the same color is going to really benefit you, because since there's no way to tell what position they're going to ask for, and you're going to want to get the stat boost, right? You're going to want to have the stat boost. You don't want to be left with opposite colors, opposite arrows, because the computer is picking ones that make your tags not compatible anymore. So if you have all 5 players with 3 one side and 2 the other, then most likely you're definitely gonna have at least the same color arrow. They might not be compatible, just depending on which stat ones, but at least they won't be non-compatible. So plus 60 for defense on center, and it's always gonna pick the stat boost that it is asking for. It's asking for 1v1 on defense, so it's gonna give us plus 60 on defense if we pick the center. So we're gonna pick the center, and again, they're all bronze and silver, so we're not going to actually see how much this impacts the actual game mode until later on, until they get this actually fixed. And maybe they did this because they're still working on the stats. But now we have the 2v2. And since we only picked 1 just now, we still have 4 other cards and guaranteed to have a tag. So we got a left arrow, and we're going to want to pick a right arrow. And there is a defense on there, so let me pick defense as well, since it's 60 plus to defense. Let me just show you how good these stats get when you have a tag, when you have a support card, and when you have the boost in there. So, well, wait, was that the one? Did it automatically switch out? I haven't even been paying attention. I don't know if y'all have noticed. Maybe you have, maybe you haven't. But it's only on the tags. So when you do a tag, sometimes, when you start it, the 2 players you start with isn't always the 2 players you finish with. And it only does that on the tags. It doesn't do that on the singles, but it does do it sometimes on the tags, which is really weird. So this is the only time that I can see it kind of causing a problem, is if this is supposedly random. Maybe sometimes when you get down to only one card left, or maybe two cards, and they get the stat boost on theirs because the AI randomly picks the stat that they have the card for, and we don't have the card anymore because it randomly picked one that we don't have. That could kind of be the only time where I could see coming into problems and be a little frustrating, especially when we get to the event card side. When we get towards the event card and we're facing Sapphire Pros all over the place, when there's only one card left, like this one. Let's say we're, getting the event card and we're facing a Sapphire deck, and this guy right here is we know it's going to be a Sapphire Pro. We have a Sapphire Pro, but he gets a 90 bonus to his rebound because the AI picked it on his side, and there's nothing we could do. We don't have a support card. Support cards don't even come close to the amount of boost that, it puts in it, so it's like an automatic L. That's the only time that I can see it being honestly frustrating, is if the AI seems to pick theirs more than it does ours when it's only getting down to a couple cards. All right, so next quarter, again, same thing. We got a single. It's going to ask for playmaking. We have all the same color arrows. We got the first one. It is 2v2, so we can automatically get our tag out of the way. We'll do this one, and we will do, let's see if it changes. So we got Jaren Jackson, and we're going to do Mike Conley. Let's see if it switches out. Just in case you haven't seen the glitch or the bug or whatever. So we got Jaren Jackson, and once they disappear and they pop back up, sometimes they pop up different cards. And you see the Mike Conley changed to the Damian Lillard. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know what's going on. And the stats, and it's not like a visual bug. The stats are different. Like, the stats are correct on the card. So that was actually the Damian Lillard card. So if for some reason we got the boost and we used the support card and all of those cards applied to the specific card that we were picking, once that card disappears and out pops a card that we didn't even use, we lost all stat bonuses that we even put in the card. So, I mean, that could be another reason why they made it all bronze and silver, because they noticed a bug at the last moment, and that could have been truly the reason why they did it, and they just didn't have time to fix it. So, if that's the case, GG to them for not, letting us play the entire event and figuring it out at the end and getting super frustrated with cards switching out. So I do appreciate that. All right, we're gonna finish this game out. We got the Derrick Rose. So hopefully this explanation made sense, and hopefully it makes sense of why you want to pick the entire row with the same color. Some of them up, some of them down. Trying to do 3 and 2. That way you'll always have a tag, and you never really have to worry about what random stat position that they pick, because they just randomly pick the point guard. We're gonna want that stat boost. They randomly pick a center. We're gonna want that stat boost as well, and we're gonna have other cards in the deck that could be compatible tags. So that's kind of the idea. Let's see, Miles Turner, John Collins. Who are we gonna get? All right, so Candace Dupree. I mean, she's not even on this row, right? She wasn't even that arrow, and yet it switches out. At least it's switching out with cards that I have, and not even random cards. I mean, they are cards in my Gauntlet deck. They're just not cards even that are on the board. And whatever reason, it only does it on the tag, because the single cards do disappear, and then they reappear. But for whatever reason, it only appears on the tag. So last round, we got our Ben Simmons. We got Karis LeVert. It's almost like, who are we going to get? We got Ben Simmons and OG. All right. So, yeah, hopefully all of this stuff is fixed. I mean, depending on what the event is next weekend to get our pro, I'm thinking that at least as of right now, What I'm hoping for is for it to be the Gauntlet. I mean, normally I wouldn't say I want it to be the Gauntlet, but one thing I don't want them to do is add another event in this game. Like, we're coming to a point in this game right now where there are so many bugs and so many things that need to be fixed in the game for them to add new content that's buggy as well. Is going to be really frustrating. I would just rather them focus on fixing the Gauntlet, fix the bugs that are in the game right now, fix the things that need to be fixed, like the rewards and the stats and the actual Gauntlet game mode. They need to fix all those things. Maybe chill out on the cards. I don't want to say that because the card designs have been sick. They've been absolutely sick. But if they could just, you know, get those things fixed before next weekend and let us do the Gauntlet over again, give it another shot with our decks and our lineups. Maybe add the Heroic on the way. I still have not pulled a 2021 card, and if you saw the last video, I had tons, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, over 700 resets, thousands upon thousands of picks. Only got 3 of them, and yet again, same thing. I still haven't pulled one, and I don't know if I will anytime soon. So, anyways, guys, that's my theory. That's my rundown. That's my breakdown on the Gauntlet. That is the deck that I am now going to use instead of the deck that I suggested in the previous video. And hopefully, maybe that works. I mean, I think it will. I don't see any problem with that deck. I think that is the best way to do it right there. As long as you have the arrows. And I've been telling everybody, save all of your Emerald Pros. I mean, save every single one of them, because if you have a high stat or a higher tiered Emerald Pro that's a opposite arrow, but you need a specific arrow that's lower tiered Emerald, it's better to have that. Like, it's better to have the correct arrows than a card that is, I don't know, 20 or 30 total stats higher spread out between 4 stats, like 5 stats in each category, a little bit better. I mean, who cares about that? Get the arrows right. Have 3 one direction, 3 the other direction. Make every row the same color, and you should be good. I mean, I think when the real Gauntlet comes with the stat boosts, having them all the same, all tags, I think we'll be able to kill it. Might even not even need 12 total Sapphire Pros to be able to get it done if you could manage that. But anyways, guys, hopefully you did enjoy. Hit the thumbs up if you did. And yeah, let me know how your Gauntlet's going. Let me know what your 2021 pulls have been, because I'm not going to get any anytime soon. So I need to live off your success. I will see y'all next time, guys. Hopefully we stream soon. It's just been busy, man. Absolutely been busy. But I'll see y'all next time. I'm out. Peace.